Hello, everyone. Welcome back to 3 News Now. I'm Stephanie Haney. It's Tuesday, August 11th. We start off with breaking news. The Big Ten has now reportedly officially voted to cancel the 2020 football season. We'll get into more about that in just a moment. The other things we'll break down for you today with the top stories from WKYC.com and our WKYC app include the latest numbers from the Ohio Department of Health on COVID-19. Also, former Ohio Governor Republican John Kasich will be speaking at the Democratic National Convention. There has been a partial list of speakers revealed today. We'll tell you more about that. And we'll tell you what President Donald Trump has said about former Vice President Joe Biden promising to select a woman as his vice presidential running mate. Also, you may not need a study to tell you this, but there is a study that tells you this now. Electric scooters are dangerous. We'll tell you exactly what that study found. And you are not imagining a soda shortage. That is actually a thing. We'll tell you why and remind you that we would love for you to show us something good and all the different ways you can share what's making your life great today. Now to that breaking news. The Big Ten has now reportedly officially voted to cancel the 2020 football season after a lot of back and forth. Yahoo Sports' Pete Thamel is now confirming that the conference presidents have voted to cancel, and we can expect an announcement today related to that cancellation of the 2020 football season. There was reportedly an official vote this morning, and that formal announcement is expected today. Now, the presidents of the Big Ten schools are hoping to postpone until spring. That's according to Fox Sports' Bruce Feldman. That would be following suit with what happened on Saturday with the Mid-American Conference. The Mid-American Conference announced on Saturday that it was postponing its fall sports, including football, until the spring. And the hope there is that the COVID-19 trends are more favorable at that time and the sports can continue at that time. Of course, we'll keep you updated on WKYC.com and our WKYC app. Our 3 News sports analyst, Ben Axelrod, is all over it, giving us the most up-to-date information as it comes in. Now for the most up-to-date information about COVID-19 here in Ohio. The new numbers are in from the Ohio Department of Health, and new daily reported cases are up, new daily reported deaths are up, and so are new hospitalizations from yesterday. In the last 24 hours, we've seen 1,095 new reported cases of COVID-19. Now, remember, there is a lag in this data that comes to the Ohio Department of Health. So that doesn't mean that there have been 1,095 new positive tests in the last 24 hours, but this is the number that have been reported to the Ohio Department of Health. So that brings the total number of COVID-19 cases that we've seen here in Ohio, dating all the way back to March 9th, to now 102,826. Here's some good news. The latest daily testing positivity rate is 4.5%. So that means for all the COVID-19 testings that we're doing in Ohio, 4.5% of them, according to this latest number, are coming back positive. That's below the World Health Organization's recommended threshold of 5%. So that is good news. However, in the last 24 hours, there have been 35 new deaths reported related to COVID-19. That's up a lot from yesterday when there were 4 new deaths reported. That brings the total number of deaths that we know about related to COVID-19 in the state of Ohio to now 3,708. In the last 24 hours, new hospitalizations are also way up, more than double what we saw yesterday. There have been 131 new hospitalizations reported in the last 24 hours. This number is a more real-time figure as that comes in more quickly from the hospitals. There are now 989 people who are currently hospitalized related to COVID-19. That's 21 more people than yesterday. So when we look at who's being admitted and who's being discharged, we're seeing 21 more people total hospitalized today. Of those 989 people who are currently hospitalized in Ohio related to COVID-19, 338 of them are in the intensive care unit. Now, that's a decrease from what we saw yesterday. So there are 13 less people in the ICU today than there were yesterday related to COVID-19. We saw 19 new ICU admissions reported in the last 24 hours, though. So again, when we look at the number of people who are currently in the ICU, we're taking into account people who have been discharged and also new admissions. And when we look at the hospital bed occupancy rate in the state of Ohio, we are at 74%. So that's an increase from yesterday as well. That means that there are 26% of our hospital beds across the state that are available for people who need treatment, whether that's for COVID-19 or something else, according to the Ohio Department of Health. Now let's take a look at the U.S. and the global numbers related to COVID-19. These come from Johns Hopkins University. And globally, we are now over 20 million cases, according to Johns Hopkins University. The total number of cases globally is 20,152,405, and the global number of deaths related to COVID-19 is now 737,986. In the U.S., we have about 25% of the known global cases and about 22% of the known global deaths. The total number of cases in the U.S. is now at 5,113,906, and the total number of deaths in the U.S. is now at 164,101. Bringing it back to Ohio, we do now know that former Republican Ohio Governor John Kasich is on the list of people who is set to speak at next week's virtual Democratic National Convention in support of former Vice President Joe Biden, who is the presumptive Democratic nominee for president to run against President Donald Trump. There was an incomplete list released today of who those speakers will be. So Kasich, who ran against President Donald Trump for the nomination in 2016, will speak on Monday. Also speaking on Monday will be Senator Bernie Sanders, as well as former First Lady Michelle Obama, and currently scheduled is Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. Now, Whitmer is in consideration to be Biden's potential vice presidential running mate, as are other people. That selection has not been made yet. So if she is selected as the running mate, she will speak on Wednesday instead of Monday. So apparently we are not to take anything into the fact or read anything into the fact that she's scheduled to speak on Monday at this time. Stephanie Cutter, who is a veteran Democratic strategist and is directing the program for Biden, said that in putting together the speaker list for the event, they had two goals in mind: to include more Americans than ever before and to ensure that all Americans see themselves reflected in what they are viewing. Biden's acceptance speech, we know, will not be happening in person in Milwaukee, which is the home base for the Democratic National Convention, where none of the speakers, by the way, will be speaking. It will all be done virtually. He will be giving his acceptance speech on Thursday night from his home state of Delaware, though it's not exactly certain where at in Delaware he'll be giving that speech. So this virtual event is to be held August 17th through the 21st, so that's next week, and it will be broadcast and streamed online each night from 9 to 11 p.m. Now, as people are looking for Biden to announce who his running mate will be, President Donald Trump made some comments about that, and some people are taking it in a certain type of way. He said today that Biden's promise to select a woman as his running mate is not something that he would have done. This is in an interview with Fox Sports Radio. Trump said this today. He said, quote, "Some people would say that men are insulted by that, and some people would say it's fine." Now, in saying that, that's kind of a non-statement, really, that some people would be insulted and some people would not be insulted. You can say that about pretty much anything. But then President Donald Trump went on to say that he would be inclined to go a different route. He said that Biden, quote, roped himself up into, a certain group of people for who his running mate will be. Now, this is a choice that President Donald Trump did not have to make this year because his running mate was decided for him because Mike Pence is already his vice president, and they are running as the incumbents this year in the 2020 presidential election. We will still hear from them, however, at the Republican National Convention, which will be the following week. That'll be August 24th through the 27th, and that will be based in Charlotte. However, President Donald Trump has also said that he does not expect to give his formal acceptance of the incumbent nomination to run again as president from Charlotte. That will be somewhere else, and he said that announcement will be coming soon as well. Now, here's something you maybe didn't need a study to know, but there's a study on it nonetheless. Electric scooters are dangerous. This comes from a study from the Journal of the American Medical Association and the Surgery Department. So this is based on a study of emergency room visits related to scooter incidents that happened between 2014 and 2018. The study found that ER visits related to those scooter incidents increased by 222% over the 4 years that it was studied. And that is a lot. Also, the rate of injuries from electric scooters nearly tripled in those 4 years. And the study found that most of those injuries were to people's heads and limbs and ranged from fractures to cuts and scrapes. So Dr. Tom Waters, who is a doctor with the Cleveland Clinic here, said that the best thing that you can do to be safe on these scooters is to know the rules of the road, to make sure the area around you is clear, that you're watching for traffic, that you're watching for pedestrians, and here's the kicker. He said, I would highly advise against operating these when you're under the influence. We all know that it's not a good idea to be operating things when you're under the influence. You can even get a DUI on a bicycle if you've been drinking and biking. So there's your official warning from Dr. Waters of the Cleveland Clinic not to drink and scoot, because you might see yourself ending up in the ER and you might be one of those statistics in that new study. Here's another thing you may have been noticing. Yes, there is a soda shortage. You are not imagining it. It's true. But why is that happening? Well, it's because the companies are saying there is now more demand for at-home products like cans of pop, and the companies have said they are trying the best that they can to keep up with the demand, but it's been hard because people are spending more time at home. They are not going out as often. And Coca-Cola has also said that the pandemic has disrupted the supply chain for things like artificial sweetener and other ingredients that are shipped from places like China. Also, there's an aluminum can shortage. So there's a major manufacturer, that company is named Ball, and they make aluminum cans. And they said what they are doing is they are aggressively expanding U.S. manufacturing production to hopefully get as many aluminum cans out there so that everybody can drink their favorite pop. Yes, we call it pop here in Ohio. I've taken flack for that all over the country, but we call it pop in Ohio. So that's what I'm calling it right now. So they're working on it. So if you've been having a hard time finding your favorite pop, just know that they are working on it. And here's one more reminder for you that we want you to show us something good, and there are a lot of ways that you can do that. We want to make sure you get your Tuesday off to a right start and celebrate that with you and share that with the rest of Northeast Ohio. So if you want to share a photo or a short video with us of what is making your life great right now, you can do that in 3 ways. You can do that in the WKYC app using the Near Me feature. Just tap on it and all the directions are right there. Very simple. We also have the directions on WKYC.com if you want to read through that, just in case you learn better that way. Also, you can text a photo to 216-344-3300, or you can comment on our Facebook post, which is on our Facebook today. We posted a story asking you to show us something good and tell us what's making your day great. So you can reply there with a photo as well. That's it for your 3 News Now afternoon update. I will see you next at 5 p.m. on What's New with your trending stories in the Clicking in Cleveland segment. And you can also watch that, by the way, in the WKYC app. You can stream it for free. When you open up the app, you'll see the greeting, and then look down at the bottom. You'll see a button that says Watch. Just tap on that button that says Watch, and you'll see the video pop up right there. You can do that anytime any of our news broadcasts are on the air. You can watch it live in the WKYC app. So I'll see you there, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for your next edition of 3 News Now. Everyone enjoy the rest of your afternoon. I'm Stephanie Haney.